These are devotions for people at a social distance. This morning I was reading in Genesis chapter 13 in my devotions and came across a story that, I've read many times, but that kind of struck me a little bit differently today. It's the story about how Lot and Abram separate at some point. It goes like this. So Abram went up from Egypt, and he and his wife and all that he had with him, and Lot, who was his nephew, with him into the Negeb. Now, Abram was very rich in livestock, in silver, and in gold. He journeyed by stages from the Negeb as far as Bethel, to the place where his tent had been at the beginning between Bethel and Ai, to the place where he had made an altar at the first. And there Abram called on the name of the Lord. Now Lot, who went with Abram, also had flocks and herds and tents. And the land could not support both of them, living together, because their possessions were so great that they could not live together. Now, this one sort of struck me a little bit differently. I mean, it's a story. It actually kind of sets up the whole Sodom story as Abram and Lot separate, but it is a story that you just sort of, it seems to be, developing the ongoing plot in Genesis. Doesn't seem all that significant. They're just going to separate, right? But look at it. It's saying that they had grown so wealthy that the land could not support them. And I don't know, that makes me think about how in our society we have a certain number of people who have grown so wealthy that they just sort of suck up all of the resources of the land. It all goes to feed those wealthy folks. And that's, I think, one of the problems we have in the world today, that there are some people who have grown so big and important that they suck up the whole land. They take it all. And I think that's one of the problems we have in this world. Not that people need resources to live, I understand that, but that some people, some individuals, a few wealthy ones, take so much it creates a problem. But here is where the problem comes. Thus strife arose. Okay, so there's not enough to go around. Strife arose. But who does the strife arise among? The strife arose between the herders of Abram's livestock and the herders of Lot's livestock. So who suffers? Who struggles? Not Abram and Lot. They're doing fine. They're living off the fat of the land. They got everything they need. No, it's the little people, the lowly people. They are the ones, and they start fighting against one another. And you know what? That's what we do. That's what we do in the world. There are certain individuals who seem to suck up so much of the resources of this world. And what do the rest of us do? We fight over the leftovers. The poor folks or the ordinary folks. Oh, well, that must be the fault of some racial minority, or that must be fault of the immigrants or the refugees. They're sucking up so we end up fighting over the scraps that the really wealthy people leave behind. Just makes me think that maybe, just maybe, there's another angle to look at this story. And that's just something I like to do. Lord our God, help us to think about how the way we are living, as a whole society is beyond the means of the land to support, and help us to think differently, even if it means looking at a passage like this one differently. Amen.